Today we are going to discuss about this jQuery file upload CV that was assigned CV number as 2018-9206. And so I am on their vulnerability.md page, their official jQuery file upload vulnerability.md page. And over here, like all of the vulnerabilities that was there and that was fixed, so they have mentioned it over here. And in this, there are many vulnerabilities. So we'll mostly look into the the file upload one and what was the patch released, and there were multiple bypasses of that patch. So we'll look into that as well. So yeah, let's. So this is a CV20, the link of the description of basically 2019-06 on the CV thread, and it says that unauthenticated arbitrary file upload, and that was related to the version 9.22.0, less than that, or so. The vulnerability cause of the vulnerability was so what exactly happened before that, before the Apache version. So let me give you. Let me open this sample Apache configuration that they have mentioned over here. So it's opening. Yeah. So basically, whenever someone was using the jQuery file upload vulnerability, all of the security thing or all of the security related any thing that was allowed. So only image was allowed to upload, but and this was basically .htaccess file in the Apache was responsible for that. So if you see over here, it clearly mentions that any file match, let it be any file, just set these headers. So basically all these headers, the main ones are the content type, like the type is setting to object stream, and then we have this header content deposition header attachment, so that when you open that any file uploaded, and that will get that won't open as inline in browser, that will just give you a pop-up. So that's what this header is doing, and then we have this browser sniffing disabled, so that just respect the content type, whatever server is sending, instead of sniffing the actual content of the file. So this was the rule, and there was one more rule. So anything related to these three files, basically with GIF, JPEG, and PNG, just unset that header date composition, whatever we are setting over here, so that user can see that any file in browser as well. Yeah. So that was basically so this was basically the rule that was set for that jQuery file upload vulnerability. But what exactly happened? Apache after 2.3.9, they by default they so this was after this version, with by default the value of this allow override was set to, previously it was set to all, but after this version and onwards they have set this value to none. So, and what exactly this allow override does? So let's go to their official website, and I have the link ready, so I'll just open that link with you. And this is their official website of this allow override thing, and we can see over here. So before, so it accepts these values, allow, none, and you can give the directive tab as well. And previously, by default, the version 2.3.9 and later the default version is set to none, and before that it was set to all in the earlier version. So, and if you have this set up to none, then any htaccess file you are having in the directories, it won't respect that .htaccess file. So suppose you have .htaccess files set up in your server, and then you have this allow override to none, then Apache won't look for any .htaccess file at all. So basically, and everything was reliable on the .htaccess file for this jQuery file upload, and by default it was set to none. So that was basically the reason behind it, why then now we can upload any files and browser, like if we have the mode PHP enabled, then like the browser or the server will just execute that file and you will see the output of that file. So yeah, that was pretty much it, the vulnerability. And about the exploiting the vulnerability, it's pretty much easy. You just have to upload any PHP file and then you will be able to see like if you have the PHP execution allowed in that folder, so you will see the any like the content of the PHP file that you are uploading. So I have Docker Compose and the Docker file ready with me. So I will share that as well, and then even I will run that Docker file in our in my local, and then we can go through like we can go through with the lab part. So where I can exactly share that. Can I share it in general or CD?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So these two are the for the Docker Compose and Docker. So these are just of Docker Compose and Docker file basically. So I will just share those.
So everyone can need to download these files, right? If they want to try to see how this vulnerability is exploited.
Correct. So I will go through the link as well, and if you want to follow along, you can go through open the link as well. So let me open one of the links. Let me open the first one. So I have all the things downloaded in my local. So I will just go through what exactly it's doing. So this is a Docker file. This is the main Docker file. So here we are pulling the PHP 7.4 image from the Docker hub, and then basically what we are doing over here. So this is the file. We are just setting that error level to only error in the php.ini file, and then we have what exactly was happening. So when you download this PHP 7.4 image, so basically in the Docker they have some additional security as well. So in there is some additional file in the Docker php.configuration file, and in that this allow override was set to all. Let it be any version. Like we are not. So I'm just by default it is set to none in the later version of Apache. So I'm just setting it that to none, and then it's just like cleaning out some directories that we don't need. And here is the part where we are actually downloading the 9.22.0 where the vulnerability lies on the basically the project, and then we are just setting it up in our www.html, and then we are just giving out the permission so that the like when we upload the any file, it will have the permission to upload that in the directory. So pretty much it what we are doing in the Docker file, and then in the Docker Compose file, what we are doing, we are just referencing the Docker file and then starting the port, like just internal port mapping on 8001, so we can access our app on 8001. So yeah, like you can just download it, and then after you have downloaded in the, let's say this repo, so I have everything ready over here. So I can just go ahead and start with Docker Compose. Okay. And now you can see Apache is running, and so let's open. So the port is 8001. Yeah. So this is the UI. It will look something like this when you actually are opening your local as well. And then you have different options of uploading the file. So now, like basically, our allow override is set to none, so we can upload any files, and it will, like if you have the permissions, it will just execute that file. So let me upload a simple PHP info.php file. So I'll just show you the content of that PHP info file. It's just calling the PHP info header, PHP info method, and yeah. So let me open it, and then I will just start uploading it. So now if I so it has been uploaded. So if I just go and open that link, so you can see that it got executed whatever was in the PHP info file, and we get all the information about the related environments and all. So this is pretty much the the basic exploitation of it. But yeah, and then we can look into the patches and the bypass of the patches. So any doubt till here or anything else on that anyone wants to discuss? Hello.
Clear to me.
Hello, Sanjay. Can you just explain that that variable that was set on to that part, like?
So okay. So let's do one thing. Let's go to our PHP. The local. So I have PHP installed in my local as well. So just go to that PHP directory and then let's look at that. So yeah, over here if you install PHP, it has the local installation of /etc/ph Apache 2, and then you can look at all the configuration. So basically, this is the file responsible for configuration. Just to give you an overview, and in the conference, this is the module for all the modules that is available, and if you have enabled any of the modules in PHP, that will be in the conf enabled, and then we have again these things as well. So these are for the configuration, these are for the modules. I'll just open this main apache.configuration file, and then we can look at that. Okay. And so if so this is just a configuration file, and you can see the documentation of it, what exactly the files are doing. And if I just search for that law override, yeah. So there are some of the rules, and the first rule is so again we are using the directory over here, and then we have some rules inside it. So basically on the root directory, every it's just denied. So this is just for not going before the web server. So that is the rule is for that part. What we are doing, we are just setting that allow override to none and require all denied. So no one can access this directory, and we have access to these directories. So we are mainly focusing on where www. So over here you can see by default it's coming as none. So and then require all granted. So you can access after this anything is there, you can just access that basically these directories. So by default it's coming as none. But previously what used to happen, this used to come as all. So when it used to come as all, and then in that case anything, so basically if I just open this jQuery file upload 9.22 what we have downloaded, so we have something. So let me open this file, and we have, let's say, this .htaccess file that they used to provide, right? And in that, we have again the same rules that we discussed, that it's setting that header to none in case of these three extensions, and in other that is just setting to attachment, so that no one can browser can't execute any other files or can't display those inline in browser. So yeah, now if you just set it to none, so let it be if you just provide any htaccess file, if there is any htaccess file, it the Apache won't look for it. It will just go ahead and do their it will just go ahead. It won't look for any .htaccess file. So yeah, that was the main reason of the vulnerability. So is it clear?
Sanjay, just correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, when we are just setting that allow override to none, so we are actually preventing the access to the .htaccess file, right? If I'm correct? Like all other directories.
So we are exactly not doing that. We are not preventing that access. Basically, if you know the Apache, what it looks for, if I set this to all, let's set this to all, and then if I just set this, so this is in local, and then let's first set this to none. Let's see what we get. And this is the default configuration that we are getting, right? So let me start the service Apache 2. Okay, so I restarted the server, and then we have Apache is listening on 8,000, so we can just change the port over 8,000, and we have the same setup in our local as well. So if I just upload any, let's say, PHP info.php file for now, and then I start uploading it, so now you can see it got uploaded, and we can execute that PHP info part over here, right? This is in local. This is not nothing related to the Docker file. So now let's go do one thing. So let's set this to allow override to all, and then let's start the server again. And now so now basically if I just open, so this is the this is CVE part. This is the so here we have hosted our jQuery file upload, right? And over here, like you can see inside the inside our, this is basically the repo, I have downloaded from the GitHub, from their official repo. And in that file, if you see in the PHP inside the dot files, we have this .htaccess. So previously, this was there previously also, but the Apache server was not reading it. But now we have set that allow override to all. So this that Apache will look into this htaccess file, and if there is any error or anything, it will just tell us. So let's see, that should be the case. So if I just upload any file, let's say the same file, php-info.php. Okay, so that got uploaded, and so now you can see it. So it's giving the error, right? We are not able to access, basically we are not able to execute that file, right? So because what's happening over here, if I so there's a the default log location where you can actually look into what exactly is happening, but you can see now it's trying to read into this htaccess file, and then basically that is causing the server to not execute that php info.php file. Yeah. So it's for the looking into the .htaccess file, nothing related to that. We can't access that .htaccess file. Obviously, you can upload the .htaccess file with some rule, and that rule will be you can set it up to anything, and then you can bypass that. So
Sanjay, I got the clarity. Thank you.
okay. So yeah, anything else? I have just set that allow override to none, so that it won't look for this htaccess file. Yeah, anything else? So now we can look at the actual the patch. What was the patch, and then we can go through how to bypass that patch, and how it was bypassed basically. So let me open the jQuery file upload. So this is the their official repo, and I will just go to the release part, and then let's start with 9.22.0. So that was 16.9.22.1. So we'll just see the differences between the two releases. So instead of just clicking next and next, I will just go and give after 9.22.0, because that is the version that we are looking for, and this is the 9.21. So yeah, this is the patch version that they patch. So let me click on this one, and then we can compare, right? We can just compare it to 9.22.0. So you can see there was security fix only allow emails file types by default. So this is just a commit message. We can just go through. So there were three change files, and the first and second is just the update of the package management. So basically they are updating the version. It was 22.0, now they are just updating to 22.1. And here changes had been introduced. So now in the index.php file, basically what was happening, so they have something, they are passing this array of except file tabs. So now in the code itself, they are handling, they are trying to, handle the upload part. So previously it was all in the .htaccess, but now in the PHP code itself, what they are doing, they are saying that hey, by default just accept these headers, extensions, sorry, not headers, GIF, JPEG, and the PNG part. So what we'll do, so this is basically the one change. So let's do one thing. Let's copy this change whatever we have over here. So I'll just copy it from here. And then in our local, what we can do, we have this index.php file here running in our Apache server. So we'll just modify it to the the 2.2.1 version. Yeah, and then if I let's save it. And now everything was working till now, but if I just upload the php file, then it should just, okay, so now you can see it's just throwing me error saying that file type not allowed, right? Because of the patch that they introduced, and now it just accepts these files. So, and the bypass for, and yeah, so that was basically the patch that they introduced. And so in that, what is exactly happening over here, they are just relying on, so there is one upload handler.php file, the class, and in that, like, we have different options that you can set. So by default, if I just go to, like, this is the optional, by default option that is initialized, and we have different rules over here, different headers basically is getting set over here. And if I just look something, for like by default, so for now we are passing that array of these except file types. So let's search for the by default what was the behavior if we are not passing that. So yeah, this is the header, and you can see over here like they were just allowing everything. So it just regex for allow everything, and now we are overriding that and we are passing on except file type. Allowing these three extensions. So the bypass for again this patch was so let me open the vulnerabilities.md file. So now like there was multiple bypass again for this one. So the first bypass was like suppose if some Apache server they are handling their script is something like this, right? Like they are executing everything using the add handler part. So like if now like if you have this enabled in your Apache.configuration file, then what exactly will happen? Like if you have some .php file and that will just interpret it as PHP file, PHP script file. But the disadvantage of this one is, like suppose if you are uploading something as .php.jpg, even that will get interpreted as PHP script. So that was the first bypass. So what you can do, you can like if there is any server or if there is any Apache server that has this rule enabled, then you can just go ahead change that PHP file info.php to any other extension, like say php.png, the three extensions that is allowed, and that will eventually get executed at PHP script. So that was the first bypass of this one. And then after that, they fixed that bypass in the 9.2.4.1. So let's look at what exactly they fixed in 9.2.41. So if I again go to our like where we were just comparing that. So yeah, this is the part where we were comparing. And if I just change this to 9.24.1. Okay, and so we have some commits over here. So let's look at the change file. So 11 file has been changed from the 2.2.0 to 2.4.1, and then there are some other files, but we are mainly interested in upload handler.php file, right? So previously, yeah. So now we are looking at this accept file, and it was just allowing everything. But now what they are doing, they are allowing only the GIF or JPEG and PHP file, and then so now instead of just taking everything like if you upload, let's say, php.png file, so instead of just taking that as a file name, like in this case it will just php.php.png, they are now replacing that. So they are just taking whatever is in the, like after they so if you see, they are splitting based on the dot, and then they are just taking the last one. So yeah, and then it will be just a single extension, and then based on that we have the checks like whether it's a PNG, JPEG or GIF, then allow that or don't allow that. So that was again fixed in 9.2.41, but eventually even that was like that got bypassed, and bypass for this one was like if you are aware of the image magic vulnerability, so that basically is like you can insert any, like that you can generate any other file and embed your script, basically any other script. Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, and can you see that screen again?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so in 9 dot, I just open this one. Yeah. So like even that in this 9.2.4.1, like the multiple extension was correctly patched, but then again there was this image magic vulnerability, and that was like that was used to bypass that, and that was again fixed in 9.2.5.1. So for this part, like if you like if we are anyway like over time, so if you guys want, then we can look into this what exactly was the difference between the 9.2.51 and then the 9.2.4.1. So basically the difference was, instead of just relying on the extension, they are now relying on the magic byte.
Let's take
like if you
let's take a look at that, Sanjay. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's, instead of now looking at, because like we have looked from till 9.2.41, we know what was the changes. So let's look from 9.2.41 to 9.2.5.1. So if I just I'm just confirming that 9.2.5.1 and then okay. Yeah. You can do the same thing where the GUI also. I'm just using the URL. Okay. So there are 6 of the changes. Again, we'll look into the change file, and we can see we are mainly interested in the upload handlers of PHP file. What exactly they are doing over there. So okay. So now they have removed this part, right? Like the image file types part, and basically now they have introduced something as comment. There is no code over here. They are just saying that read first file bytes to identify and correct file extension. Okay, and how exactly they are doing it, let's see. So now they have this valid image file, and they are passing the upload file. This is a method. So let's look into this method, what exactly it's doing. This is the method. Yeah, this is valid, and then it's just returning this image type, and this image type is this one. So this is the basically the patch that was introduced for that image magic. So in this over here, you can see we have 3 different cases. So what we are doing, we are just reading the magic byte. So magic byte is something that is actually responsible for the original data. So again, you can see for the GIF, if you open any of the GIF file, like the magic header start will be start by this 47, 49, 46. Again, JPG, their magic header starts with FFDB. So basically, any file that you see in Linux, like, and it's not the extension that the OS is using to know what exactly is the type of. They are actually looking into the magic header, and then based on that they decide what exactly is the type of that file. So again, they are doing the same thing. They are just taking the first few bytes to look into the exact like what exactly is the type. So in this case, you can see they are checking for these three cases, like for JPEG and for PNG. And if these three cases match, then they are returning the type of that, or else just returning the false. So yeah, that was the bypass. That was the patch that was released for the 9.2.51.
Sanjay, using hex dump, we can see the bytes, right? So if you want to show for the particular file, the bytes, magic bytes that you're talking about, if you want.
Yeah, so you can, I think you can just Google it, magic header.
For the particular file that we are uploading, yes.
So yeah, list of file signatures. If I just open the Wikipedia of this one, and then you can see, right, we have this hex signature of every file. So this SQLite file, and if I just search for PNG file.
No, I meant that the file which you are going to upload, we can just run hexdemp and you can show what the header is in that case, but if you want to.
Okay. I don't have any file related to. So we have this payload.jpg file, but again it's a payload file. It's just that extension is so it's a Ghost script file. So if we can look, I don't have it installed. So any other by default that is installed. GS. Okay, so even that is not installed. Let me quickly install that. We want to see that. So basically, it will just show you the hex dump of every fold, like every file, and then the first few bytes, you can see the actual type of that file. So, yeah. Yeah. So this is the Ghost script file, and you can see the first few headers. That is 25, 21, 50 in this case. So yeah, like, and the actual content over here, like what is the actual content and the hex representation of that. So yeah. And yeah, so like again, like if you want to, so this was the bypass last patch release. And if you want to test the image magic vulnerability, then what you can do, this is a great article from the one, I will just share it over here. And like they have shown what exactly for the image magic vulnerability, what exactly you have to do, and they have the machine as well. So what you can do, they can just follow along, start to hack, and then they will just spawn a server for you, and then you can just go ahead and upload this Ghost script file, and then so what they are doing in that file over here, they are just retrieving the content of etc password to this vs.txt. So after this file got successfully executed, you can just visit this vs.txt, and it will show you all the etc password content of it. So that pretty much it, like that I wanted to cover, and we are like over time as well. So anything else that any discussion? Hello. Can you share that link? This one. Okay. Now let me share on the campus. Yeah.
So if there are any questions anyone wants to ask, Please feel free to have discussion now.
There is one question in my mind. So, I can touch upon that part where you told that in version 25.1 it was introduced because and it checked for file headers instead of file extensions. So why was that checked? Was it people were uploading a PHP file in name of dot, like the extension was right but the headers weren't, and it was executing? Was this the case? There was no concept of looking into the headers. Basically, what was happening, the first the patch was just limiting everything to just 3 extensions, right, that we discussed. And after that, like what was the case in many of the in many of the configuration that you see, what people do just to execute this PHP file, so that suppose if some server has some PHP enabled, right? And then they just want to execute that file. They just if people are visiting and they are just clicking on .php file, so they don't want to show the raw content of that file, right? And the proper way to use that is via the files match, via the file handler. But people developer, what they do, they just put this add handler part. So what exactly this add handler part is, suppose you are relying on this part to execute any PHP script. So this is correct, right? Like what it will do, it will if you are uploading any PHP file, if you have any PHP file in local, they that will get interpreted as PHP and the server will execute that. But the limitation of this one is it won't suppose now if you have some file like .php.jpg, right? Even that will get interpreted as .php. So that suppose if you have something like .php.jpg, so even that will get interpreted as PHP file. And basically that, for that reason, what they introduced another patch in 9.2.41.1 saying that like if you are uploading the files with multiple extensions, they will just consider the one extension, and based on that extension they will look if that is in the safe part, and if that is, then they will just allow it. So it was never related to a header, it was just related to the extension part. I got this part, but I don't know what next vulnerability was, because if you're uploading a single, if you're changing the extension like .move and it is not loading, will the file still execute if the file doesn't even have the PHP extension? That's the question. So the last part, that image magic vulnerability. So that part was basically like if you are uploading everything as .jpg only. So now, like if I just show you this one, where exactly, so this is basically the script part, and you can see, so we are uploading everything as .jpg, but due to the vulnerability in image vulnerability, I think the name is imagic. So in that, due to they are using that imagic to get some part of it, they are relying on that part. And in that, there was vulnerability that if you upload any, let's say, any ghost script file with the .jpg as well, so that even that will get executed. And in that, so now we have something, let's say, a script type of thing. Like in this case, it's a ghost script. And then what we can do, we can write our own logic and upload it as JPEG file. But now, since there is no pass or there is no code to handle this part where people are just uploading any other script as JPEG and that is getting executed. So now instead of just relying on the extensions, they are exactly looking into the header. So now suppose if you upload this one, so it won't be the JPEG, right? It will be of PS type, like the ghost script magic file. So that will get that won't get allowed. So that was the patch. That was clear, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, anything else? Okay. Yeah, Aditi, that was all that I wanted to cover.
Okay. Very nice session, Sanjay. I really enjoyed it. I hope others also enjoyed. So if you wish to have any discussion, the floor is open. If anybody wants to add any more thoughts, then otherwise we are done with the session and we'll probably close it. So are there any more questions or anything you want to add from your side? So while you were seeing this demo, something came to your mind and you would like to share that with others?
And one more thing that I wanted to add was like, so we have started with just this basic vulnerability of this CVE-2018-9206 and some patches, but if people are interested and if someone is like someone, even they are doing the CV thing, they can just go ahead and approach Riddhi and like we can have, even you can start give a session on another CV, or suppose if there is some audience, then what we can do, looking into the existing CVs, like what like I have analyzed this CV and then I am presenting it. We can just go ahead and look into another CVs, but some random CVs, and then look into the exploit part, what exactly is that, and the other things as well. So.
Yes, thank you, Sanjay, for saying that. So everyone, just like Sanjay did this session today, if any one of you are interested, then every Saturday we have fixed this time, 1 p.m. For such sessions. So any one of you, if ever you are interested and you think there is something you have learned or practiced and you would like to share, we would be happy to give you this space and host the event for you with you as a speaker. So you can just drop a message on the group and we can take it forward. So if there are no more questions, thank you so much for taking your time out on the weekend and spending it on learning something interesting. We'll meet again in next session. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And thank you, Sanjay, for this lovely session.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.